Hey there, welcome. This is Luminara Surda. Look, with my funky hair growing out after I shaved my head. Anyway, um, enough about me. I'm going live today to talk about the connection between lymph flow and autism, and specifically poor lymph flow. If you don't know me, my name is Luminara Surdar, founder of Autism Transformed, where I help kids go to more calm communication and connection through looking at what's going in their bodies and what's coming out, or mainly what's not coming out. And that's where the lymph is involved. So if you think about how the body works, and we maybe don't think about this, my major was biology, so I love and geek out on this stuff. But if biology isn't your thing, or anatomy or the body isn't your thing, let's go through a little bit about what happens. We put food in the mouth, right? Food, supplements, water, hopefully not too many other kinds of liquids, because water is the healthiest one. And we get nutrition from that. So let's say we have chicken for dinner, chicken and rice and some vegetables, maybe carrots and peas. We chew. Our body brings that down into the stomach where we digest proteins, and then we bring that down into the intestines where our digestive enzymes further work on breaking that down so that as the food moves through our intestines, it can get absorbed into the body. We have vitamins, we have minerals, we have proteins in the form of simple amino acids. That's what makes up proteins. We have fats, good fats, hopefully, that we're eating. And all of that travels through the body and nourishes our cells. So we have nutrients going into the cells. Our cells do a lot of processes. They do a lot of biochemical reactions. And you may have heard of some of them. I mean, first of all, we build and grow, right? Our kids are growing bone. Our kids are growing muscle. We are in this anabolic growth phase where we need these nutrients to go into the body. But as a part of that, our body creates waste. We create waste at the cellular level. So all those little reactions that are happening, the muscles that are building, the bones that are building, our organs that are building, we create waste. So there's normal cellular waste. Just like in your house, every day you put stuff in your garbage can because you want to take it out to the curb and have the garbage men take it away, right? You don't want that to build up in your house. We do that in our cells. And what do our cells do with that? They push it out of the cell and it goes into the lymphatic system. So this is where a clogged or blocked or not easily flowing lymph system can be a real deficit for us as adults, but for our kids as well. So this cellular waste gets pushed out into the lymph, and the lymphatic system, it runs parallel to our circulatory system, right? We all know our blood flows to our organs, to our brain, and our blood flows out of our brain, and it carries some waste as well. But the lymphatic system is the big waste system. Picture it as the garbage truck that pulls up to your curb and takes the big garbage container and dumps it in, and then takes it further down the line and into wherever the waste goes, and then it gets processed. Also think about your pipes. When you flush your toilet in your house, where does that stuff go? It goes through the pipes in your house and through the sewer system, or either out into the sewer system and to the city water to get processed, or it goes out into your septic system, and that needs to be taken care of. So that's waste. In our bodies, it's the cellular waste. The lymphatic system carries it, and if our lymph is very clogged or very full, picture a garbage truck that's too full to take your garbage. It's not going to take all of it, or maybe it's going to leave some dropping down the street. So this is the equivalent thing of what could be going on in our kids, what I see going on in our kids. The lymphatic system is one such processing system of the body. We also take toxins away from cells, and that flows into the liver, and the liver is our main detoxification organ. Now, every single cell in the body knows how to detoxify. It's just very concentrated in the liver. That's kind of like where the garbage trucks would take the garbage. the liver of, of that system. And our liver does a lot of work. And what I find in kids on the spectrum is the liver is very congested. And before that, the liver is congested, the colon is usually congested. Sometimes there's fecal matter that hasn't moved through. It's compacted in there. I've actually done colon hydrotherapy on myself, and you can see there's a clear pipe that everything comes through. And you can see that there's old stuck stuff in there. Our body just socks it away if we can't get rid of it, if we can't eliminate it easily. That's the colon. The liver has the same thing. Like if it's overwhelmed, overworked, think about, if you're at a job and you have to process all this paperwork and, the stacks of paperwork are like up to the ceiling, you're just not going to get through that in a day. It's kind of like our liver, right? There's all these toxins coming through and we just aren't getting through it. And if the liver is backed up or overwhelmed, then the lymphatic system that dumps the waste into there can get backed up. So imagine a freeway where you have to pay a toll. Back in the day when you had to stop and pay a toll and actually put the money or give the money to the person. Now we have all fast track and everything, but so you don't have to stop, but you do have to slow down. So imagine you're stopped at a toll booth and you're the 500th car back. It's going to take you a while to get up to the toll booth. So that's like the waste that's coming. Let's say we have waste in our brain because our brain did a lot of work and we want to get that waste coming through the lymphatic system. So it has to come through the lymphatic system of the brain, and then it has to come down through the neck here and into the heart space, and then that gets carried to the liver. And that can be backed up any step of the way, just like the freeway example when you're paying the toll in the freeway. So our lymphatic system is super crucial to helping the body remove toxins. Cellular waste can be toxic if they build up, right? That garbage that you haven't taken out for a month can get toxic in your house if it's built up. But that's not the only thing. Most of our kids have chronic infections, and these microbes are producing their own toxins. They might be there for a reason to help us out, like Candida. Yeast is typically helping us eat mercury that's in the body. It's a way to sequester the mercury or hold on to it without having to put it anywhere in the body. But when the yeast eats the mercury, it produces its own toxins and it creates its own problems for the body. So you may have seen if your kids are sometimes laughing for no reason, that's a sign that there's yeast, because yeast produces alcohol, and alcohol makes us giddy and drunk. So we're laughing a lot. Toe walking could be related to yeast, and rashes can be related to yeast, and a lot of other things. So you can see there's a connection between all of this. We have a symptom, let's say laughing for no reason, and then we think back, oh, it's the yeast causing that because the alcohol it's producing, which isn't great for our brain or our livers or anywhere in our body. And then we think, okay, why is the yeast overgrown like that? Oh, because there's mercury in the body and it loves to help out with mercury. So it's really kind of doing a good job, but it creates its own problems. So if we trace that back and then we say, well, why is the mercury there? I don't know how it got there. We could have been exposed through dental amalgams or other ways. There's mercury in foods. There's a lot of toxins all over the place in our food, air, and water. So maybe we were exposed one of those ways. Maybe we were exposed in utero. The mercury's there, and so that's a toxin that's not being taken out by the body because is the lymph system congested? Is the liver overwhelmed? Are we not pooping every day? So there's lots of reasons why this might be happening, but what I want to say about the lymphatic system is it's really the pipes that move things around. So congestion of the lymph, poor lymph flow, can keep us in a state of brain fog. And what do our kids have? They have issues with their brain, memory, and inability to do certain tasks. This is an inflamed brain. This is a toxic brain. most typically. And it could be mercury, but it could be so many other things as well. It can be pesticides and herbicides. It can be, I just talked about yeast, and they produce alcohol. So it could be there's alcohol compounds in the brain. It could be ammonia. It could be lots of different things that create brain issues and brain inflammation. So when we're looking at a child who wants to, who we want to help on the autism spectrum, we want to help them have better eye contact or speech, or sit still and focus on a task, it's really helpful to know what's inside the body creating that inflammation. And so, we do diagnostic tests. I like to do muscle testing. If you don't know what that is, you can look on my website, Autism Transformed, and I talk about muscle testing under my services and NMT. I talk about what muscle testing is and how you can do it from a distance. It's really testing a muscle of the body to find out, to ask yes or no questions, and you can find out what the compounds are in the brain creating inflammation. So I talked about why lymph is related to autism, why poor lymph flow is related to autism, but also it would be poor liver function and maybe some constipation. And let's look at how the body eliminates in a general sense. We poop and pee every day. So we need the kidneys to be working to get, they mostly filter metals. So if our kids are high in heavy metals like mercury or aluminum, that's the kidneys that are doing that job. And then our colon is letting go of the poop. The way the poop and pee get there is by these toxins coming to those organs. So the toxins come in through the intestines, of course, through food, some of that stuff we don't need for our body, but also through the liver. And if the liver's backed up, then it's the lymph has a harder time to flow toxins into it. So what's it going to do? It's going to send them over to the kidneys and go, hey, take this out through the urine because, this doorway is blocked. Let's go through this doorway. So if your child has frequent urination, it can be a sign of many things, but it can be a sign of toxin overload for sure, and that the liver isn't working well. So so that's where the lymphatic comes into play. And so I talked about the colon being the colon and the kidneys, the bladder being the first point of elimination. That's the bottom of our body. And the next kind of drainage organ would be the liver, where we detox, and the next one up would be lymphatics. So you see I'm going up from the bottom of the body to the top. And the top, we want the brain to drain, right? We want those toxins out of the brain. But if the lymph is blocked, like if your child has a swollen lymph node, I've seen them in the back of the neck, I've seen them over here, all over, maybe in the armpit. This is a sign that the lymphatic system is trying to do its job. It's working really hard. Maybe there's an infection. Maybe there's another toxin it's trying to get at. A lot of times it's infection. And so if your body is constantly working on getting rid of those infections, it's busy, right? It has so much capacity to handle the toxins. And if it's working on one set of toxins, it may not be getting the other set of toxins. So we want to have that flowing, and we want to have that moving through. And how do we do this? I just want to give you guys the simplest way to help with the flow of lymph, but with the flow of all the waste out of the body. And I've heard from my clients and from other people that I've shared this with that it's been a game changer for them, some of these. So I'm going to go through just a simple massages you can do at home to help the lymph flow better and really to help the waste get completely out of the body. So the first one is a colon massage, and you just, if you don't know, I'm going to put my screen down. The colon runs from your right hip, so if you want to touch your right hip, it runs from the right hip up to right under your ribs, and if you go over from right to left, this is the transverse colon, it goes across the body, and then it goes down to the left side. So that's where all our poop gets processed through and put together to come out as poop, as fecal matter. So the colon massage is where you start from the end point, where it's going to come out of the body, and you massage upward and over, and then the transverse way, and then down. So you're going the opposite flow of how things flow out of the body. So and the massage is, you're just palpating a little bit, and if kids are very compacted in here, it might hurt. So be gentle at first. So you go the opposite way, and then you're going to go the right way. So what we want to do is stimulate the flow of the colon, the peristalsis. You want to, and I'm doing it really fast, but what you might do is like this, like little massage, little runs like this. And so many people have told me that their kids are pooping better after that. So getting the bowels emptied is super key, because if those aren't emptied, then the rest is going to be blocked and backed up. The next thing is a liver massage. So that's the next drainage organ up, and I'm going to show you. So I want you to take your right hand and put it over your ribs, where you can feel where your ribs end right here. So that's your liver. And what you'll do on your child is you'll have them lying down. I can't do it because of the positioning of my hands, but you're going to have one hand over the liver and then one hand on the back. So you're going to squeeze like this. So you're literally compressing the liver, you're squeezing the liver, and you're going to imagine like you're squeezing toothpaste out of a tube of toothpaste, and so you're going to push and go down with your fingers pointed kind of down this way. Now, before you ever do a liver compression massage, you want to make sure the colon's open. So I would do the colon massage first, and then the liver compression massage. And if you're going to do the liver compression massage, think about what happens. You have this liver, this organ, and you're literally physically squeezing it, and you're squeezing the toxins and the bile out of the bile ducts. What's that going to do in the guts? What's that going to do in the intestine? So if you are squeezing out a lot of toxins, that means it's going to land into the intestines, the small intestine, the large intestine. What happens in the small intestine? We absorb things into the body. So before you ever do a liver massage, I want you to use binders, and that's going to bind up the toxins that come through. Activated charcoal is one, chlorella is one. I use some from Cellcore, which are amazing. There's GI Detox you can order, that's from Biocidin. Quicksilver has a really good binder for multiple things, and I can't remember the name of it off the top of my head, but it's from Quicksilver. It's a multi-binder, meaning it will take mold and microbial toxins and different kinds of toxins, not just one type. So before you ever do a liver massage, you want to make sure that you are loading the body at least a half hour before with a binder to bind those toxins that are coming out, and then they'll go out in the poop. And you might see some nasty stuff coming out in the toilet. You might see parasites. You might see little wiggly worms. You might see dark flecks, and that could be heavy metals. You might see black stuff. It really depends on what's in your child. So we covered colon massage, liver massage, and now I want to do a lymphatic massage. And this is really an all over body massage. So where your collarbones are, I'm going to pull my shirt down. So here's my collarbone, and these are your lymph termini. So these are a really important area to massage first, and it could be sensitive in there. So you want to make sure you do this on yourself first before you do it on your child. And if they're sensitive or ticklish, my son was super ticklish, you just want to, maybe do a gentle rub over. Some kids are super ticklish in here. So this is the termini you want to do first, and then you want to do below the collarbone. And you're just like palpating, doing a little massage, rubbing around with your fingers. And the left side here is where all the lymph from the body drains into right here. This is why we have a lot of, when you see breast cancer, a lot of it is in the upper left quadrant. There's no coincidence that our toxins all dump there. So if you know someone, excuse me, with breast cancer, or you've had it yourself, this could be a reason, poor lymph flow. Okay, so you're going to do around here in this upper left quadrant, and then you're going to do under the armpit. You want to do your armpit and all around in there, because we have a ton of lymph nodes in there, and you want to make sure that that's flowing, and then you'll do the same on the other side. On the right side, in the same area, everything dumps from our right arm and our head. So if you're looking to get those toxins out of the brain, this is a good place to be massaging. But let me warn you, you don't want to do this massage if the liver is completely overloaded, because what's going to happen, you're going to loosen a bunch more toxins and they're going to go into the liver, and your liver's going to go, what? I already have a lot of work to do. So this is why we have to start from the bottom up. We have to start with the colon, make sure our kids are pooping every day, and then do the liver compression massage, and then we do the lymphatic massage. This is just a start. And you know, there's lymph throughout the body. There's a lot of lymph in the abdomen, so you want to do some kind of abdominal, you know, lymphatic here, and it might feel really good for your kids. And then there's the backside, and you have a lot of lymph nodes in the groin area, in your inguinal area, so that's just at the top of the leg, kind of under the crotch, so you want to do that too. You have a bunch of lymph nodes behind the knees and around the ankles. So we want to get the whole body, but we want to start at the toll booth, so to speak, right? I talked about the freeway jam at the toll booth. Well, this is the toll booth. So you want to open that up first before you open up the rest of the line of cars, which is the rest of the body. So you start at the top here, and then you massage up here under the collarbone, armpit, and you can massage up here. You can just do some rubbing, and then the belly, and then the inguinal, which is in the crotch area, back of the knees, and ankles. And I will sometimes take a lymph brush and just brush all up, you know, so it's good to do some compression like this. Maybe this is why some of our kids who like the sensory and like the squeezes, it makes them feel better, because you're squeezing the toxins out of that area where they might be creating some kind of inflammation and pain. All right, so I talked about those 3 massages, and there's one last massage, which is, well, there's a couple. I think I'll just tell you about one more, which is the draining the lymph from the head, and that is, you want to, under the chin, under the bone here, you want to massage. So you're not on the bone, you're just inside the bone. So you massage here, you go back, and you go forward. And there's a lot of lymph nodes under here that help your kids, you know, with waste. After you do that on both sides, you'll do like this, because we have our carotid and our artery and our jugular vein, right? The carotid artery takes stuff to the brain, the jugular takes stuff out, but there's lymphatics here too, which is taking waste out of the brain and out of the head in general. So if your kids have ear infections, sinus infections, they're always sick, this is a good one to do, right? So you're opening up the lymph flow here. So imagine your lymph channels going from like a coffee stirrer size straw to a smoothie size straw. You know, just you're opening up the vessels. And then you make sure you want to do the termini first and up here first, because when you drain the brain, if you open these vessels, you want these to be open so that can drain. So once again, I want to summarize by saying that if your child has poor lymph flow, this can be contributing to the autism symptoms, because the waste isn't getting effectively out of the body, and it just can be recirculating and stuck in the connective tissues. The body says, oh, where can we store this, right? It's like when you move into a new house and you have a little bit less space, you're like, oh, where do I put this box, and where can I put that? And you find these corners to put stuff in for temporary, right? Until you can find a real spot. So the body can do that too. It can find temporary places to put our toxins until we're ready to really remove them and go do a deep dive and get those out. So these massages can really help, but binders are critical. I will never live another day without binders in my life because of all the toxins we're exposed to. I had a client asking me, well, how long do I stay on this protocol? How long do I do the binders? And I said, well, as long as they're helping and as long as we're exposed to food, air, and water that's, you know, could be toxic, I would stay on binders. So it's just going to help you pull the toxins out of the body. All right, I wanted to see if there's any questions. I know people have come and gone a lot. So, oh, thanks, whoever said I look pretty with short hair. Ha, thank you. Yeah. Okay, so I don't see any questions, but if you have any, go ahead and ask about the lymph flow. I'll just wait a moment. And in the meanwhile, I'll say that I'll post this as a reel so you guys can have this information. And I think I wanted to give you a resource. I believe I have the colon massage on my website under my blog. So it's autismtransformed.com / I think it's resources. Anyway, you can go under there under resources and find the blog. And there's a video of me doing it, doing more of a proper massage rather than a 2-minute thing on Instagram. Okay, should we avoid while kid is sick? Okay, I actually think, so Rose Angeline, when our kids are sick, at least my clients who I've dealt with, they don't want to eat, they don't want to take binders, they don't want to take any supplements, they're just like down for the count. So you want to give lots of fluids for sure, and they'll still be processing toxins, but this is the best time to use binders, because what happens when we're sick, we have microbes that are producing more toxins that are making us feel like crap, and that's a time to take binders and bind up those toxins. If your child's not pooping, I understand that, because if they're not eating, there's not a flow through. It depends on your child and on the situation. So if you know your child normally poops every day, that's huge. And I would go ahead and do the lymph flow. I would actually I'm going to give you my sinus massage. I wasn't going to do it, but I'm going to, because I have a little cold right now, and I had someone do this on me. So I'm going to show you my sinus massage. So if your child is sick up in the head, this is super helpful. So the sinus massage, it's a little bit like the lymph massage, but it really helps drain the fluids. So what you would do is you sit down and your child puts their head in your lap, basically. So you're looking at them right in front of you. And I can't demonstrate how you would do this, but these are the moves you would make. So because I'm not sitting behind me. So imagine my head is in someone's lap and they're doing this. So you rub this frontal sinus with as much pressure as is comfortable for your child. And so that's clearing out the sinuses here in your head. And then you do this sinus that's that's under the cheekbone. So you could do like that, 4 or 5 times, 4 or 5 rubs. And then you do over the teeth. So last night when I was sleeping, I could feel my sinuses, my teeth start to hurt. And I could feel them filling up. Now they're better, but you want to do that same thing. You rub it 4 or 5 times, and then you're going to turn their head and do like we did before. You're going to rub down the lymph here 4 or 5 times, 6 times, and then you're going to do it on the other side. After that, you do what I call chicken neck, and you take your hand and you rub on either side of their Adam's apple, this hyoid bone, and so you do it fast. So it sounds like this. Okay, there's a little vibration. And then you're going to tap their thymus bone. So this is the breastbone, and it's right in the middle of the breastbone. And your thymus is right there. So you tap, tap, thump, 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 thump. And then you have them sit up, and they can actually feel the drainage. I've done this on many, 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 many people, and they just feel so much better. So if your kid's sick, that's the massage I would do more than anything. You could also do the termini before you do that so that they can flow. And it's just going to depend on your individual child as to, where else they're congested in their body. So you might need, any kind of compression and squeezing in the lymph. That's really great. And you might want to do a little tummy massage, a little colon massage, a little liver compression. I wouldn't go like, let's get these toxins out. I wouldn't go full on with that when your child's sick. And what's their comfort level? If it doesn't feel good for them, you do it really lightly, or maybe you do it with the intention of doing it energetically. So maybe you're just barely touching, but I think it's important of what your intention is while you're doing it. And your intention is, I'm going to open up these lymph nodes. I'm going to open up these lymph channels. And that intention goes a long way to helping, achieve what you want to achieve. So, thanks. That's a good question. Everyone's a little different when they're sick. So you have to, your child best. Can they handle it? All right. Well, thanks everyone for joining. Appreciate you. I hope you put these massages to use and get the lymph flowing, get the colon and liver flowing. And give me feedback after you use them. You can send me an email at at my Autism Transformed. On my website, I have a contact form, so you can send an email that way. You can just post, send me a direct message on Instagram. Let me know how this works for you and how it works for your child, especially if the colon massage, if your child's constipated and that's working. I love to hear those stories. They're just warm my heart. So thank you. And we'll see you guys next week.